Before the dawn of kingdoms, before the first brick of Uruk was ever laid, there reigned a goddess whose power stretched from earth to the highest stars. Inanna, queen of heaven, mistress of love, lady of battle. She ruled joy and war with equal grace. Her temples overflowed with offerings. Her name echoed in the hearts of kings. But one night, she heard a whisper, a voice from beneath the world, from the realm where sunlight never reached. A voice she knew well, her sister's voice. Ereshkigal, queen of the underworld, ruler of shadows, keeper of the dead. And the whisper carried grief. For Ereshkigal's husband, Gugalana, had died, and Inanna felt a strange pull, curiosity, pride, and something darker. She whispered, "I, Inanna, will descend to the great below." She did not say why. Even she did not fully know. Inanna dressed for power, not mourning. Her shining crown, her lapis beads, her breastplate of battles, her ring of queenship, her measuring rod, her royal robe. She adorned herself like one entering a throne room, not a grave. Before leaving, she called for her most loyal servant, Ninshubur, and said, "If I do not return in 3 days, go to the gods, beg them to save me." Ninshubur bowed deeply, fear in her eyes, and Inanna, radiant, fearless, unstoppable, walked toward the 7 gates of the underworld. The underworld was sealed tighter than iron, but when Inanna arrived at the first gate, she stood tall and declared, "I am Inanna, queen of heaven. I come to witness the funeral of Gugalana." The gatekeeper looked at her and sent word to Ereshkigal. The queen of the dead hissed back, "If she enters, she must bow to the ways of my realm." And so it began. Gate 1 opened, and the gatekeeper took her crown. Gate 2, her lapis beads. Gate 3, her breastplate. Gate 4, her ring. Gate 5, her golden rod. Gate 6, her robe. Gate 7, her final garment. Piece by piece, the Queen of Heaven was stripped until she stood naked, vulnerable, human in form, before the throne of her sister. In the heart of the underworld, Ereshkigal sat trembling on her throne. Her eyes were red from endless tears. Her nails clawed the throne arm. Her body shook with pain, rage, loneliness. Inanna stepped forward, and for one moment 2 queens of unimaginable power stared at each other. Heaven and underworld, life and decay. But Ereshkigal did not rise. She whispered, "You came to see, but not to mourn." And with a single gesture, Ereshkigal condemned her sister. The judges of the underworld seized Inanna. They struck her down. Her lifeless body was hung on a hook like a piece of meat. The Queen of Heaven was dead. The world above trembled. With Inanna's death, love disappeared from the earth. Crops withered. Animals refused to mate. Temple fires turned cold. Warriors lost their courage. Kings lost their wisdom. Ninshubur waited 3 days. Inanna did not return, and so the loyal servant ran to the gods. To Enlil, he refused. To Nanna, he refused. Finally to Enki, god of wisdom. Enki alone understood. The world cannot go on without her. He shaped 2 tiny beings from the dirt under his fingernails, creatures without gender, without judgment, and filled their hands with the water of life. He whispered, "Go into the dark. Do not fear Ereshkigal's screams. Do not turn away when she cries, and comfort her and save Inanna." When the little beings entered the underworld, they heard Ereshkigal crying, screaming, writhing in agony. They did not flee. They did not shrink back. They simply said, "We hear you." For the first time, Ereshkigal felt understood. She said, "What do you want?" They replied, "Only to ease your suffering." Moved to mercy, Ereshkigal said, "I will grant you a gift. Choose anything." They pointed to Inanna's lifeless body. "Give us the queen." And Ereshkigal, though she hated it, gave Inanna back. They sprinkled the water and food of life, and Inanna rose. But she could not leave, not yet, for the law of the underworld was absolute. No one leaves without a replacement. Inanna rose through the 7 gates, clothed again in her symbols. but now guarded by demons demanding a trade. They followed her into the sunlight like shadows. She searched for someone to take her place. Not Ninshubur, for she had been loyal. Not her musicians, they had mourned. Not her priests, they had prayed for her return. But when she reached her own throne in Uruk, she found Dumuzi, her husband, sitting on her throne in fine garments, celebrating instead of mourning. Her eyes hardened. "You will take my place." Dumuzi fled in terror, but the demons caught him, and so it was decreed. Dumuzi would spend half the year in the underworld, and his sister Inanna would take the other half. And thus the seasons were born. Inanna returned to her throne, alive, wiser, transformed. She had descended to the place where every soul eventually goes, and returned with the power of life and death. From that day, summer is the season Dumuzi is dragged below. Winter is when his sister takes his place. Spring is when he rises again. The world moves in cycles, because even the Queen of Heaven once hung lifeless in the dark. And somewhere, deep beneath the earth, Ereshkigal still sits on her throne, whispering, "Every queen must one day bow to the great below." Such is the Descent of Inanna, the oldest surviving myth of death and return. From the highest heavens to the deepest shadow, even a goddess must face the darkness within herself. If you love cinematic mythology retold with emotion and power, subscribe to Mythoria, where ancient legends rise again.